So
Sounds good.
would you like to kick it off with your personal experience?
I would.
I
I
mean, you have
have.
multiple ones, so
I
yeah,
I do. I think my most famous experience is the great white monkey
that's one of mine as well.
bet.
Oddly enough. All right, so I'm gonna jump in on this one too because the whole name came from us making fun of you.
Yeah. So it happened when I was 16. I was in high school. I was on a date and I was coming home from my date. It was dark. Um, the guy I was with drove an SUV and it was like right after Halloween. So like the beginning of November. And we were going down a country road where we lived. There were no street lights, nothing. It was dark. The only thing was his headlights. And I saw something like up in the top of the trees that I thought was like a ghost decoration. And I was like, oh, somebody left a ghost decoration up there. But then as we got closer, I could see that it was like really far up in like some tall pine trees. And I was thinking, who the hell would climb that high to put up a little ghost decoration? And then we got even closer, and all of a sudden, it like opened its wings, and it was huge. And I think of like Jeepers Creepers, but I don't think Jeepers Creepers had came out yet. I think this was pre Jeepers Creepers, right? So when that came out, I was like, or maybe it was after Jeepers Creepers. Anyway, it reminded me of Jeepers Creepers, okay? Because it had a tall body, it had wings, but I couldn't see its head. Like, I don't know what kind of head it had. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it was big, and it came down and like swooped over the top of his SUV and went up in the sky. And I could see like in the moonlight that it was going up and turning around, and he like gunned it and went as fast as he could, and we lost it. But it was big. It was like at least 6 foot tall, if not taller, right? And it was all white, and it had like these like wings that looked almost transparent, like bat wings. You know what I mean? But it had like a long human body and long human legs. And then I get home, and my boyfriend at the time gets out, and he looks on the top of his SUV, and he's got scratch marks on the top of the SUV from where the thing like scratched it with its claws. I'm guessing it's claws. I don't know. So I'm like, he's like, you can't tell anybody because nobody's gonna believe us. So I go in and I tell my daddy.
And you tell everybody.
I do. And Daddy's like,
Everybody gather around.
it's probably a crane or something like that. And I'm like, no, this thing was huge. Cranes are like, kid, 3-4 feet tall. This thing was really, really big, and it was all white and looked humanoid, right? So from then on out, everybody made fun of me and called it the great white monkey bat.
Because it was rare, it was large, it was like, the great white shark, but then it
Mm-hmm.
was also hanging from a tree like a monkey and a
Like
bat,
a monkey and then
like
a
a monkey
bat.
bat. So it
That's
just
it.
it just came into play. It was the great white monkey bat. So
Yeah.
probably the dumbest name, but if people have seen this around like the world, like or the country, the world, or anything, maybe
Mm-hmm.
this will catch on. Maybe the legend of the great white monkey bat will spread.
Right. Well, I told somebody about it. Somebody that like
When your friends.
one of my friends know me. I told her about it too, and she ended up seeing it one night, not far from where I saw it in our hometown. And she called me like at 2 o'clock in the morning and woke me up. It's like, what? She's like, I saw it. I'm like, you saw what? A great white monkey bat. I was like, oh God, it's coming after me. But like I kind of heard other people,
Mm-hmm.
saying that they've seen something sort of like it.
I've actually tried Googling it, but nothing really pops up when you Google great white monkey bat. So, but I don't
Yeah.
know what else to Google for. Like, what are you like giant
Well,
humanoid bat
see, I
thing?
was talking to somebody that was like researches like paranormal activity, and he was like, was it the Mothman? And I was like, the Mothman? I'd never heard of the Mothman before. So I started reading
Really?
about the Mothman, and I was like, you know what? It could have been the Mothman. But that was like farther up north, like Pennsylvania area. But
Mm-hmm.
still, they could migrate.
It's true.
It
It's
was getting
possible.
cold, so he's
Well,
going further south.
I have some theories as well, and I like to kind of circle back to. But I want to talk about my experience.
Yes. Hmm. So,
So
all
for the
right, this
longest time,
happened.
this is
This happened to me in 2000, the year 2000, 2001.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and your experience was a few years later.
Yeah, it was quite a few years later because you were already married. You already had your first two boys.
I want to say it was 2013 for you. Does that sound about right?
Uh, it was somewhere probably between 2013 2015.
Well, I moved out of that place in the beginning of, like, you moved out the end of 2014, right
Mm,
after Thanksgiving, because we had like our little Thanksgiving dinner, you know, we made like grilled cheese and noodles.
yeah, that was a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so it had to have been before 2015. So that's why I'm thinking 2013, maybe
Hmm.
beginning of 2014.
Well, because I had actually started a job working with your ex-husband. He got me a job doing cable installation, and I just started. So this was probably mid to like towards the end of September because I was still training at the time because I was still riding in his company vehicle.
So it
He
had to have been 2013.
yeah,
Okay.
and so it was mid to late September, and we were leaving. It was super early. We had to go like a couple of towns over to do equipment exchange, and we had to leave at like 4 in the morning. And so we had just left the house, we're going down the road, and I see in the headlights there's like this animal, and I automatically think it's a deer.
Right.
There's deer always out in the country where we grew up at, where we're living at the time. And so I automatically think it was a deer, and I thought it was jumping over the fence on the left side of the road. And as we got closer to it, I could see that it wasn't. It was like freeze frame, like it was jumping, but it wasn't moving forward. It was just standing there. And it had fur. It was white, but it was a very like off white, like it wasn't reflective. Like the headlights were hitting it, but it wasn't bright white. Like it was almost like an absorbent white, if that makes sense. Like not gray. You can tell it was white. It just wasn't like really bright in your face like it should have been, you
Right.
know?
Right. Hmm.
So we get closer to it, and as we pass it, you can see that this thing is just standing there with its back to us, arms long all the way to the ground. I mean, I thought this was a deer rearing up and like leaping over a fence. So it was standing almost upright, slightly hunched over, arms all the way to the ground. And it was just shaking, like just
Just
like shaking
twitching.
like it was, yeah, just twitching like it was scared, or I don't know. I mean, I couldn't see like his face or his head or anything. I just saw the body. It was hunched over and it was shaking. And as soon as we passed it, I looked over to your husband at the time, and I said, "What the hell was that?" And he's already looking in the side mirror. He's like, "Dude, I don't know." And we stop and we throw it. And he throws it in reverse. We back up real quick. We hop out with flashlights. Like the
Hmm.
the fear was overcome by just wanting to know what that was. We saw like it just I think that's how people get like attacked in horror movies.
Right. Right. They
Is
got to
like
go see what that was.
yeah, it's like their curiosity gets the best of them. It's like they have to know, and we had to know.
Right.
So we were the dumb people in movies that people would be yelling at. Like they were watching us in a theater.
Like,
They'd be like,
damn
"No,
it,
you dumb sons of bitches, just keep going." You know?
pedal to the metal.
Yeah. But we're out there with flashlights. We're like, "Oh, what was that?" And there was like no sign of it. Like we had just passed it, stopped, backed up, got out with flashlights, and like nothing because we already have
And
flashlights. We did
there, there were fields on both sides of you, right?
fields on both sides. So
So
there
it,
should have
it
been
didn't
like we
like
should have
run
seen.
away or
Yeah, it
anything.
didn't run away. I mean, we would have seen it across the fields. There was that fence that had to get over. We had to see it. I mean, it's possible maybe there's like maybe some roadkill it had maybe got.
Hmm.
That's a
Maybe.
possibility that just kind of dawned on me right now what it was. But so we were checking it out, and we start going back to the truck, and we're still just baffled by this. And a state trooper comes down the road, and he rolls down his window. It's like, hey, is everything all right? We're cable van, two cable guys. So
Hmm.
it doesn't look too suspicious that we're out there with flashlights looking around.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, nothing's wrong here." And he said, "All right." And he rolled the window and just kind of kept on going. I just thought it was very weird. It was like, what's the odds of a state trooper on one of these like back roads in the middle of
Right.
nowhere?
And this was like not far from where we were living.
Not far at all, like super close, like
Yeah.
scary close. Like coming home that night and constantly like looking over my shoulder and
Hmm.
always like, "What was that noise?" "Oh, yeah, that
Like
noise."
not wanting to go outside after
Yeah.
that
So
at night.
that moment right there, me and him were trying to figure out like all day what that was, and I finally caught him up. It was probably around lunchtime. I said, "Dude, it was the great white monkey bat." I was like, it has to be.
Yes, yes.
I was like, it has to be the great white monkey bat. It's been cited by you, by your friend.
Mm-hmm.
We've been making fun of you for years. And he agreed with me immediately. He was like, oh my God, dude, you're totally right.
Yeah.
That was the great white monkey bat.
And like before you saw it, you used to get my kids to hunt the great white monkey
Yeah,
bat.
we used to play games where we'd go on hunts.
Yeah.
Grand adventures for the great white monkey bat.
Oh, do you remember the one time Henry was like 2 and he's like, "Oh," and you said, "What?" And he said, "It went up my butt."
I was like, oh no.
But it does exist.
Yeah. So it was after that point, like, I started trying to like, Google it and try to find out more information, the whole Mothman thing. But I think Mothman is supposed to have like very insect-like eyes. It's very
Right.
tall, very big. So I don't think that's what we're
But
dealing with
I
here.
never saw the face.
I never saw the face either. I didn't even see the head. It was hunched over.
Yeah, I never saw the head either, just because the way it was like carrying it while it was like flying, it was like down low. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I couldn't see it separate from its body.
And it was turned away from us, so we couldn't see its face or its head, and the way it was hunched over.
Right.
So it had that same posture you're talking about, that weird hunch to it, where it didn't stand quite upright.
Did you see its legs?
Oh, we got a good look at its legs. I mean, it was shaking.
What did it look like? What did the legs look like?
We didn't see the feet, but the legs, they had that weird, like they were long, but they kind of like turned back, almost like dog legs.
Yes.
Like very
Oh my
large,
God.
like dog legs.
Oh my God. That's exactly what I saw. Yeah, it's like the knee is like backwards almost.
That knee, and it comes back up and then goes back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like a deer leg. I mean, either one, dog, deer leg.
What if it's like a mix of like a pterodactyl that somehow survived?
So you have like a theory that it could be something prehistoric.
Possibly. Well, I heard that hundreds of species are discovered every year.
Mm-hmm.
Species of, animals that already exist and new animals they never knew about. Mostly ocean life, but some land animals.
Oh yeah, there's land animals that they're finding still now that they thought were extinct for like years.
Right.
And you think about it, like people hear about it, like how could they not know? I mean, this is a pretty big world. There's still a lot of like areas that are like heavily like forested and
deserts
with cave systems in them.
Right. And of course the ocean is huge.
Yeah. It's like a larger percentage of the world is ocean than is land.
Didn't they find that the Tasmanian devil still exists or something like that?
I think it was well, it might be.
It was something in Australia or New Zealand or that area.
It might have been the Tasmanian devil. I think it was something either that or to the effect it was like a tiger striped dog. Is what they found, and they were showing like pictures of it, and they had some pretty rough footage. I think they showed online about someone who thought they had caught it on camera. Right. But my theory, I have a theory when it comes to great white monkey bat, because it is seasonal.
Right. We saw it close to around. You said September. I said like into October, early November.
Mm-hmm. So it's always kind of that fall before winter kind of thing. So we know it's seasonal, at least from our spottings. I mean, it'd be nice to get some input from other people who have seen it and get like a time frame that they've seen it in, so we can kind of either narrow it down like, okay, this is some type of seasonal creature, or
something
maybe it's broader. Yeah.
Well, I listened to Jim Harold's Campfire, which is another really good podcast, and he talks about paranormal. And I have heard similar stories on there to the great white monkey bat.
Really? I've seen like a creature?
All over the country. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They see like a bat-like human creature, and they see it at night in the sky or in the trees or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's also accounts of very large birds as well.
Right.
I watched this thing going too long ago. It was talking about these giant birds that have been spotted, and sometimes they'll see them just one, or they'll see two of them. And there's also an account where, this family was getting kind of hounded by people because they had these two large birds. They had like their son and their son's friend was playing in the backyard, and this bird large enough was able to grab him by his shirt and carry him across the backyard before dropping him.
Oh,
before
jeez.
losing its grip.
Whoa.
And I had seen something similar when I was young. Like I was very little, and I didn't actually like see it. I was playing on the, we had the in the trailer park, we had that gravel dirt road.
Uh-huh.
I was on the dirt road right next to the woods there, and the sun was really high, and all of a sudden this giant shadow just comes across, and I look across the ground, and there's this shadow of this giant wing, like just the tip, just the end of it, that came over the woods, over me, and then circled back over the trees. And I looked up. By the time I looked up, it was gone. But I could tell by the size of the shadow, like I legit ran for the house. I hauled ass to the house.
Could have got you.
But so that's just another possible account. Like, but that I was quickly, dismissing. I was little.
Right.
I could. I mean, yeah, I was stupid. I was a stupid kid playing in the dirt, playing in a dirt road, seeing giant birds. I don't know.
I mean,
So yeah, I was quick. I was quick
though.
to I was quick to say, okay, well, that wasn't real. But the red-eyed monkeyback, I was old enough to know the difference. I knew whatever I saw. I didn't know what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was.